What's up? Thanks for tuning in to the Wildcaster postgame. I'm Alec White, joined alongside Michael Lev and Justin Spears. And fellas, we had a season opener with the Wildcats. They fell 24-16 to BYU. It was a close game up until the fourth quarter. Arizona was down 21-3 in the second half, cut it all the way to a one-score deficit. Then just some real costly mistakes there towards the end from gunner-cruz in the offense just derailed the chance of a comeback. But I'm going to start with you, Lev. Are you more optimistic about tonight or more concerned with kind of the mistakes that occurred late in the game?
I would say more optimistic than anything else. I think in a lot of ways this game went the way that we thought it would. I think we all thought that Arizona would put up a good fight, and they did, right? They battled. We were talking about it on the way down here onto the field here at Allegiant Stadium. You know, last year, if they had been down 21-3 in the third quarter of a game, what would the final score of that game have been? 35-10 or something like that. Instead, they get the safety, they score a touchdown, they get the two-pointer, they make it a one-score game, they drive down again, they're kind of on the verge of scoring again. That's what you like to see out of your team. You like to see them battle, you like to see them show some backbone, some character. That was my biggest takeaway from this game. The fact that they came back, made a game of it, I think it really gives them something to build on.
And, you got to give a lot of credit to gunner-cruz, too, because this is a quarterback. It's been a back-and-forth thing, all spring ball, all preseason training camp. It's who's going to be the quarterback. Is it going to be gunner-cruz or Will Plummer? Will Plummer did get inserted into the game briefly, but I think the way gunner-cruz handled himself and the adversity and everything that went into this game, I thought was very impressive. This is a guy who didn't have any collegiate starts going into tonight. And the only significant playing time he's ever had as a college football player was, one drive or one quarter against USC at Washington State, which was pretty much garbage time at that point. So the fact that he came out here is the first time they played in front of fans since 2019, packed house, and he just was so poised and was a game manager. Now, were there some things that he could have done differently? Of course, like the interception, which I believe was right in this end zone.
And the three sacks.
And the three sacks, too. Yeah, exactly. So there's a lot that you can learn from this game. There's a lot that Arizona can improve on. But the fact, like Lev said, the backbone, the fact that they were showing some will and they weren't just going to roll over being down 21-3. There's something there with this team, and jedd-fisch said after the game that the guys are very optimistic and they're very encouraged by their performance, and they just can't wait to get back on the practice field for Monday as they get ready to face San Diego State. So tough loss for Arizona, but there's a lot of positives that you can take away.
And what did you guys make of jedd-fisch's post-game comments? I mean, I thought he was extremely positive.
Very upbeat.
He was like
Jed Lasso.
Trying to. You're right. Oh wow. Okay. Did you just think of that? This moment. That's very good.
Save this for later.
He's trying to talk this thing into existence, isn't he? Like he was explaining to us how he had a conversation with Lucas Haversick after he missed the second field goal. He was like, Lucas, you're going to make this kick. You're going to make every kick the rest of the season. You're going to be 100%. He's saying before the onside kick, he's talking to J.B. Brown. We're going to recover this onside kick. We're going to score a touchdown. We know what two-point play we're going to run. I think just the fact that he's instilling that sense of belief in the players is really going to help them in the long run. We didn't see it on the scoreboard tonight, but I think that stuff really matters.
Well, and I was also going to say the big takeaway from this game where it showed that jedd-fisch is putting a lot of confidence in this team was on the first drive. They had a fourth down on their own 24-yard line. Even I'm considering punting in Madden. And jedd-fisch said, you know what? It's fourth down. It's risky, but we're going to go for it. And they got it. And that right there, jedd-fisch just loves the guys that they have right now and putting confidence in this team, and it's going to pay dividends.
And the two quarterback battle that we were maybe anticipating did not really turn out that way. Will Plummer got one series, and it was in the first quarter. He went 2 for 3, and it was gunner-cruz the rest of the way. And jedd-fisch post-game didn't come out specifically and name gunner-cruz the number one starter going forward and ending the debate, but it was pretty clear that he hinted at that. But let's focus on the defense, guys. Trayvon Mason had, I think, the play of the game on defense right here in this very end zone that we're about standing in. A safety in the second quarter, or the third quarter, to give Arizona some life. And on the next offensive possession, they took advantage and scored a touchdown. I thought the defense in the second half especially looked a lot better.
Yeah, we asked Anthony Pandy what he saw on that play, and he said, I saw Trey Mason blow up the guard. What did you guys see? And I think we all saw the same thing. Trey Mason blew up the guard. He got the first hit on the running back, and then Rashi Hodge, who's been kind of a revelation since training camp came in, cleaned it up. Those two combined for the safety. I like what Jed said about complementary football, right? That was the special teams setting that up with a great punt by Kyle Ostendorp, right? Going out at the 1 yard line. The defense makes a play, then the special teams comes back and makes another play, and there's an amazing photo on our website by Kelly Presnell of Tavian Cunningham hurdling a defender. You guys should check that out at Tucson.com. The offense goes and scores. The offense scores a 2-pointer. That's what you want, right? You want all of those elements playing together, working together, coming together. That was a great sequence. Did they finish the game off? No. Did they make some mistakes, take some sacks, miss some field goals, some misreads? Yes. But, some of that stuff's going to happen, especially when you have, as you guys mentioned, a quarterback who is making his first career start.
Yeah.
And
has basically no experience in real college games. You got to work through some stuff. Not everyone's, there's only a handful of guys I think who are going to come in right away and be amazing college quarterbacks.
And for all intents and purposes, this was basically a road game for the Wildcats. It was 54,000 in attendance, but
technically
probably,
the home team, but
probably about 50,000 of them were BYU fans, and it was loud. Like we were in the press box. They had the windows, the area opened up, but we could hear, all the sound raining down. And if it's loud up at the top, I can only imagine what it was like.
It was deafening at times.
Cruz,
right?
And it was weird, too, because Las Vegas is Arizona country. Alec, from personal experience coming out to the Pac-12 tournament, and anytime you go up to T-Mobile Arena or MGM where they used to play, they call it McHale Center North for a reason. Because anytime Arizona was in it, it was 16,000 Arizona fans, and then the rest were fans for the other team. Or this game, mostly BYU fans, and anytime you heard a U of A chant break out, BYU fans were there to
drown it out.
Yeah.
So did you guys know that Arizona had more first downs than BYU in this game by 10, 27-17?
More
they
total
had more
yards,
total
too.
yards.
Yeah.
Right? I think that, again, to me, I always look at that stuff like when I'm...
Find small positives.
Yeah, when I'm assessing what really happened in a game. Those are some of the things I look at. Was there a big disparity in total yards? Was the score maybe not totally reflective of the play? I can't sit here and say that I felt like, Arizona was being manhandled. Or I felt like BYU was clearly the superior team.
It was trending that direction at first.
It felt like it was, but the defense kind of adjusted a little bit. I felt like they were getting worn down a little in the second quarter, when BYU started to go to the run game, but they held their own. I was a little surprised there weren't more sacks, but I also thought BYU didn't have a lot of drop back passes where he was just sitting there waiting to be sacked. They rolled him out a lot. They got rid of the ball really quickly. I think they anticipated that, and good on them for doing that. I bet you we're going to see a more aggressive approach
for sure
from Don Brown. Did you guys like it when Don Brown ran down the sideline and
called a timeout? When have we ever seen an assistant coach call a timeout, run onto the field and call a timeout?
Well, I think he was scaling the booth. He was actually in the box, came down and called that timeout. But, I think this game pretty much came down to late game execution for Arizona because, they were down by 8 points, one possession. They had the ball, and that's when gunner-cruz threw that interception. And then you also have to add in, even though they still recovered it, but Stanley Berryhill had a muffed punt, and it just seemed like a lot of bad things were happening for Arizona late in the game. But first game under the new regime, again, a lot of positives that you could take away. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
And, jedd-fisch is a little hard on himself. He said, he was disappointed in his first game as head coach. He was very accountable for tonight's loss. So how they look next week against San Diego State, it's going to be interesting because now how are you going to make that next step going into week 2? It's going to be big.
And you can catch all that coverage about tonight's game and the lead up to next week's home opener on Tucson.com and download the Wildcaster app for free Arizona Wildcats content all season long. Construction's behind us. They're building the set for the Raiders game next week, so we're going to get out of here. You're watching the Wildcaster postgame with Alec White, Michael Lev, and Justin Spears. We'll see you next week from Arizona Stadium.
Lev's got a reservation at Hakkasan. We got to go.